What's going on, guys? It is Bernardo, and today is all about how to configure vSAN 7.0. So let's get right into it. A little backstory on this. I'm actually going to implement vSAN within my 9-to-5 job. So this is all new to me, dealing with vSAN, dealing with SDS, which stands for, if you don't know, software defined storage. And I find this technology super exciting. At my 9-to-5 job, we are actually going to implement VxRail from Dell. And that's a, vSAN solution all in one, right? That's awesome. So I wanted to play around within my environment, doing a lot of research. It looks like you're able to do like a 2-node implementation, but the standard is having at least 3 or more nodes. For this video, I did it on 2, but again, basic practice is to have at least 3 nodes, 3 more hypervisors within your vSAN to work efficiently. So the first thing that I did within my environment is I logged into my vCenter. I selected my data center. I right-clicked on it and I picked on new cluster. I gave my new cluster a name and I enabled DRS, HA, and vSAN. Okay. And I click next here. You're going to get a nice review, so we're going to click finish. I have 2 hypervisors that I'm going to add. The first one is 94.140, and the second one is 94.141. And within 94.140, I'm going to click on actions and then click on enter maintenance mode and click yes. Now, any hypervisor that you add into your vSAN cluster needs to go into maintenance mode. You need to put them into maintenance mode. If you have virtual machines running within those hypervisors, most likely you need to shut them down. Once you do all that stuff, we're going to go back inside our vCenter. And we're going to go into the cluster quick start. And then for number 2, click on add. Once you enter your username and password, you're going to click next. You're going to get the host summary. Click next here. And basically a review to complete. And then click finish. And underneath your vSAN cluster, you should see both hypervisors. It's going to state disconnected, so don't freak out. It's just basically adding them. And once it adds them, you should see this state. There should be a maintenance mode. Give it some time. Underneath the add host, you should see a bunch of stuff green or red. If you have any issues, you got to fix them. If you have any problems, you have to fix it before you go into the configure cluster section of the quick start. Now, the only problem that I had was my SCSI controller wasn't certified with VMware, but it allowed me to continue to the next step. So we are going to click on configure. Now within configure, the first thing is to set up our distributed switches. So for the name, by default, it is dswitch. I'm going to change that to the following. And if you go down a little bit, the name is basically going to trickle down to your vMotion as well as your vSAN network. Now, if you go down a little further, you're going to need to pick your physical adapters. So make sure you pick the physical adapters that are not being used within your, environment. So I picked adapter 1 and adapter 2, and I click next here. Now for the vMotion traffic, underneath the IP type, I clicked on the drop-down menu and I picked static IPs. And I provided IP addresses for my vMotion traffic. Once you do that, I click next. For my storage traffic, I did the same thing. I clicked on that drop-down menu and I picked static IPs. And I provided the IP address for my storage traffic. I click next. For advanced options, I would say just review all this. Make sure this is what you want within your environment. I left everything as the default and I click next here. Now for claim disk, by default, it is grouped by the disk model and size. I like to change this, so I clicked on the drop-down menu and I picked host. And within each host, you need to basically identify or claim which disk is going to be your cache tier or your capacity tier. Once you do all that stuff, you are able to continue. You could correct me if I'm wrong underneath at the bottom at the comment section, but I believe each hypervisor should have at least 1 cache tier and the rest you are able to claim as a capacity tier. Once you do all that stuff, click next. If you have any proxy settings to configure here. I didn't have any, so I just click next here. You have a nice review and then click on finish. Now from here, I clicked on data stores and you're going to see your new data store. Now, I find it strange that I configured and it told me I was supposed to have like a certain amount of capacity, but as you can see, my capacity is 0. So that freaked me out a little bit. I'm going to show you guys how I fixed it within my environment. So we're going to click on vSAN Data Store. And within here, you're going to see your hypervisors that are connected to your vSAN, and it will actually tell you which one is running primary and secondary. Now, if you click on your vSAN cluster and go into configure, and underneath vSAN, if you click on disk management, you're going to see, well, I saw all my disk not being used. So I actually had to create a new disk group for it to be used for my vSAN. Once I did that, which I'm going to show you, if you click on create disk group, the way I saw it is I saw all my disk here, and I had to tell it which one was the capacity tier, which one was the cache tier. Once I did all that stuff, I clicked on create and it created it for me. When I went back inside data store, I saw that my vSAN data store had a capacity of 60 gigs. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you guys enjoy this video. If you have any comments or any tips for me, leave them at the bottom. Again, this whole new technology with vSAN. Dealing with vSAN is all new to me. I think the way that I did it was a 2-node setup. It's not really best practice. Best practice is to actually have 3 or more. I think with my 9-to-5 job, we actually have the VxRail set up with at least 5 to 6 nodes, which is, I'm super excited about that. But hopefully you enjoy. Hopefully you give me some feedback, and I catch you guys on the next one. Peace out.